Hey you guys, welcome to today's video. We are going to be chit-chatting about a lot of the newer, more recent makeup releases over the past couple weeks. I'm going to be trying to anti-haul the majority of these because I don't currently have any purchases, so I can't buy anything anyways. So I'm going to also help you guys to try and not spend your money on these things anyways. But yeah, mostly just going to be sharing what's newer and my thoughts on these items. If that sounds good to you, be sure to stay tuned. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe before you leave. 60% of my viewers are not subscribed, so go ahead, go down there. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Okay, so if you are newer to my anti-haul videos, slash my makeup release videos, I will have all the photos of the products inserted up over here, and I will be looking down at my map book so that I can see what the heck I'm talking about because the film on my iPhone. The first release that I wanted to talk about is the Glamlite X Scooby-Doo collection that they recently launched. I think this is really pretty. I think they absolutely knocked it out of the park with the packaging. It's that like reflective, like when you move it different ways, you can see different artwork, which I think is really neat. I also loved that the lippies that they released with this were more on the neutral side. I think that that is going to reach a lot more people than when brands do like the really fun, bold colors. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but for the most part of the side that I'm on IG, people prefer a more quote unquote wearable lippy. But so I liked that they did do that. The only complaint that I really have about the palettes is I was kind of, I don't know, I kind of expected to see like an orange or something. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I felt like all of the, you know, characters were included with the purples, with the blues, with the greens. I felt like, you know, Velma was the only one left out. I felt like there wasn't an orange in the palette to represent that bitch. So I kind of was like, poor Velma. But that was the only thing that really felt like it was missing for me. I did like how Glamlite broke this up into two smaller 10-pan palettes. I hope that they will continue to do that. Mostly just because, I mean, for me personally, I'm not really into big palettes, and they usually release these huge things, and not for me. So with them doing this, it did tempt me a lot more. I did watch a few reviews on this on YouTube. Annette's Beauty Corner did one. Angie did one. If I remember, I'll link them below if you want to check those videos out. But they did tempt me a little bit because all the looks they did with them were beautiful. I just think that these palettes for my personal makeup style and preference are a little bit intimidating because the majority of the shadows appear to have a black base, which is great if you're, you know, if you're into that, you want those really dark, grungy looks. It actually makes me think of Baddie Bean. I feel like she would be so into these. But like for me personally, I don't think it's something I would reach for often because I feel like it would be a little bit more intimidating. Overall though, I do feel like they did a really good job with this collection. If you picked it up, let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. The next launch is from Lime Crime. To be honest, I'd kind of forgotten about Lime Crime because they were so big for a while, and then they had all of that controversy with Deardo and the brand, and then, you know, she hasn't been a part of it for a while, but I feel like Lime Crime hasn't really done much since then. So when I saw this on Trend Mood, I was excited to see them doing something, but I mean, for me personally, I don't like that kind of really bulky packaging. That's what the palette looks like. It looks like super bulky packaging. The color story to me feels a little random. And keep in mind, if you love this launch and you bought this launch, like that, good for you. Like I'm not saying that, you know, whatever. It just for my preference, it ain't it. And the same with those lippies, like they are all so dark and vampy, which I'm totally sure there's a market for. it's just like, I never wear those shades ever. Like literally, I don't even have any in my collection. What I have is like 2 random lip sample cards that if I decide I want to wear a vampy lip, then I have one. But as you can see, so yeah, this one just like wasn't for me. I thought that was cute that it includes some like face gems and hair gems. I think that's cute. I really like that because I do like to wear a gem here and there. So I thought that was fun. But overall, this whole collection for me was kind of just meh. Also, my coffee's almost gone. The next launch was from Lawless, and I kind of roasted this on my IG stories. I was like, wow, could I be more bored? Like, honestly. But for Lawless, I do feel like this color story is a little bit out of their comfort zone in general. However, it still does not appeal to me. It's like what a lot of brands that typically release really neutral palettes will do, where they do a neutral palette and then they'll pop in a blue or a green to make it more wow, that kind of situation. I have some of those palettes, which is why I did not feel drawn to this at all. Lawless is also kind of up there in price point in my opinion. The palette that I did have from them, the one baby, the formulation on it was really good. And I noticed they have 3 shimmers in here, so I think that would be really nice because the shimmer in that palette was absolutely stunning. So I do think the palette would probably be really great quality. If it's a color story you think you would use and enjoy, like, go for it. I do think that the lippies look beautiful. The one, like the really taupe one and then the pinky one, I think that those look really beautiful. I'm kind of limiting myself on lippies because I've been finishing a lot of them this year, and so I want to enjoy what I have instead of bringing more in. But I could, like, those are ones that I think that I would gravitate toward. I've never tried their lip formula. Oh my gosh, you guys, can I talk? I've never tried their lip formula though, so I don't know how it is, but looks really pretty. Next up, Nomad released their holiday collection. I think this is really pretty. I think that the packaging is absolutely gorgeous. I like that it's a 9-pan. I gravitate toward a little bit smaller palettes these days, so I did like that. I was really unsure about the color story just by looking at the eyeshadow palette. Then I watched some reviews. If you guys are ever curious about indie brands, Batty Bean gets PR from like all the indie brands. So does Angie. So does Annette. And then there's one more. Gosh darn it, I can't think of her name. I will link those channels below because if you're really into indie brands, they always get PR from them and they always do looks and they always review them. And that's how I've decided like what indie products I want to purchase. But when I saw them doing looks with these, it was actually a lot more beautiful than I originally anticipated. Just by looking at it, I was like, I don't really know what I would do with this. And that's why I had declared one of their other palettes because it just felt like not cohesive. But they created a lot of really beautiful looks. So if this is one you are eyeing or one that you did pick up, you can go to their channels for some inspiration. I didn't pick this up. Can't buy palettes right now, which really sucks, but is what it is. So I don't know. And I've heard their formula is beautiful. I've only tried, one palette from them. There's other ones I've been eyeing. I just haven't pulled the trigger. But I do think this is beautiful. It is limited edition though. And if you've been here, then you know how I feel about limited edition launches. I hate them because it's like, feeds into that culture of now, and impulse purchase. And I don't like that. Because I'm on more of a low buy journey. I'm working on not being as impulsive with purchases. So like for me, I would like to be able to take my time, think about it, really mull it over, and then if I want it in like 4 months, be able to pick it up then. That kind of situation, but this is limited edition. As far as I know, it is still available. The next one. Okay. This is the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes eyeshadow palette, you guys. When I first saw the video swatches of this palette, no self-control. The Sephora app being a piece of shit saved me, because I tried to buy this palette 5 or 6 times and the app kept crashing, so I couldn't buy it. And now I realize it was probably a sign that I didn't need to get it, so I'm grateful. But wow, it looks so beautiful, and I wanted to be able to get it, test it out, do a really good review for you guys and stuff, but just didn't work out. So I think now, after watching some reviews, I think that I'll be able to pass with some restraint. Morgan Turner did a really good video on this one. So did Babs Beauty. And what I loved about Morgan Turner's was that she did a lot of comparisons to palettes that she had in her collection, because I had wondered if the toppers in here would be really similar to the Patrick Ta toppers, because I have both his palettes and I love those 3 topper shades. And I wondered if you were going to be getting like a similar effect, because if so, I mean, I have that color story in my collection for sure, hands down. So I love that Morgan Turner took it. She did like comparisons, and she listed off like 4 or 5 palettes that, like, if you had those, you had this color story. And ultimately what I felt like from her is that, like, we don't need this. If you have, you know, X, Y, and Z, you can dupe it out, which I think is really great, because this is like $70, you guys. And you get, what is it, 4, 3, 12 shades. So not a ton. I still think it looks beautiful. I think it looks aesthetically pleasing. I think that if I was financially in a place where it was like, yeah, whatever, I would definitely buy it. But I'm not in that place. So this will probably just continue to live rent-free for a while. I'm hoping that it'll eventually make it to stores, because if I could get in there and swatch it, I think that would help me make up my mind a lot better about the textures and comparability and whatnot. But this is also limited edition. And I'm like, what the actual fuck? Like, that actually makes me kind of mad and not want to buy it, because if I really love it and fall in love with it and I want to use it a lot, like, you guys can't get it. And I think that sucks. But I also think that this would make a really great addition to the Makeup by Mario line, like as a permanent item. So I don't understand why it's limited edition. So that kind of put me off too. But as of right now, if I'm feeling weak, I'm going back to Morgan's video. I mean, like, I don't need this. I don't need it. I have this. So I encourage you to do the same. If you're like, I had to take a little bit of a break from Instagram, because all my friends were getting it. All my friends were reviewing it. And sometimes when you're in that kind of like culture, it's really, really hard to resist. And I know myself, so I took a step back from IG, and I feel like that's helped. So yeah, that's my thought on that. I'm not going to pick it up. I don't think you need it, but I think if you want it, do you, honey boo? But I'm not going to get it. Okay, next up, we have this new foundation launch from Chanel. What is this shade range, first of all? Like, what? There's like, what, 12, 11, 13, something like that shades. Like, there is not a lot of shades. And I almost feel like the deepest shade could just be like a bronzer for a light to medium skin toned person. So I don't think it goes deep enough. I don't think you're going to have enough undertones, or even close to enough undertones, in the light to medium range. I think that the shade range is trash. But also, I feel like there is something about your foundation being in like a jar like that, and being like, it looks like a thick whip texture, that kind of just freaks me out. I feel like I wouldn't want to mess around with that. I just feel like it would get like kind of ucky. Like you would have to, it would be a lot of effort because I would feel like I would need to scoop in with like a spatty product and then go in with my brushes because I wouldn't want to be dipping my brush in there because I feel like that would be like kind of gross because of the kind of product it is as far as like texture and stuff. But I don't know, like when I saw this, my first thought was, ew. Like not my vibe. If you like this kind of foundation, I'm curious. Like, cause I think, what other brand? Joan Rhodes, Bobbi Brown's brand. She released one like similar to this in a pot and it didn't look like it went over that well. So I don't know. For me, the first thought was ew. And then I was looking at it and I was like, who can wear this? Because there's like 4 shades. The next one, I'm kind of confused. So my last makeup release video, we talked about how Kylie Cosmetics had launched a collab with Batman for Halloween. And I was like, I wonder if she's going to be moving in this direction moving forward because her brand has really lost a lot of like following and interest. And I feel like people aren't buying it anymore just because it's Kylie. So I wondered if she would be moving in the direction of collabing with more mainstream stuff to try to suck more people in, you know, like Revolution does and stuff like that. I wondered if that's the direction she was going in. And then she announced this collab launch with the Wizard of Oz. And what's really confusing about it to me is, so is this like a holiday launch or is it like another Halloween launch? Like, I guess I just don't know, because at first I was thinking Halloween because she was all dressed up, and then in the promo it had like the Wickedy Witch of the West doing her thing, and I was like, wait a minute, like, are we still in October, you guys? I was like confused. But then like as I'm sitting here looking at this picture, I could see where maybe it's more geared toward holiday because you have the green brushes, the red slippers, like the emerald background. So I'm like, maybe it's holiday. I don't know. It feels kind of random. It feels kind of weird. I think that the color story in the palette looks pretty. I could have done without the 2 big shades at the bottom. I don't like that at all. But yeah, I just felt like it felt kind of random. And again, I'm feeling like maybe Kylie is on this journey of no one's interested in her brand and they're kind of trying to figure out how to gain that interest back. I don't know, just kind of what it feels like to me. Let me know what you think. The next launch is from Dominique Cosmetics, and this looks absolutely beautiful, you guys. Or it's plain. But I feel like this looks absolutely stunning. Like, honestly, this packaging looks gorgeous, high quality. I have had some Dominique Cosmetic palettes in the past, and they were absolutely beautiful. The formula was good. I think this color story is really well done, and what it screams to me is like New Year's vibes. Like, that's what I get from this beautiful, sparkly, cool toned moments. Like, honestly, this like tempted me a little bit. This is one that I wouldn't mind having in my collection. I think that it is absolutely stunning. You have, you know, those deepening shades. You have a lighter setting shade. You have the lighter shades if you want to do something lighter. You can smoke it out. You have all these beautiful toppers. Like, I think this one looks really, really well done. And it's another one that I'm going to just need to avoid so that I don't accidentally purchase it. This eye keeps on watering and I don't know why. Okay, this next launch is from a brand that I've never heard of. It's Samaya. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's Samaya Beauty. And I've never heard of it before. And honestly, I think it's so ugly. Like, I think the packaging is ugly. I think it's random. Like, maybe it is, you know, tied into this person and whoever they are and their aesthetic. That could definitely be it. But as just like a third party person standing, you know, back and seeing this on my For You page, I'm like, this is so ugly. Like, the packaging, not my preference, ain't it? I also think that the eyeshadow palette is ugly. I don't, for one, like those round components. For two, I think that, you know, those two maroon pink shades look like they could dupe each other. So do the two more taupe cream shades. So do the brown shades. It just looks like you have a lot of color repetitiveness within that really small reel. And I don't really think that the color story is that pretty either in that circular thing. Not to mention, it's like $100 and... how much was it? It was over $100. I don't know. But I think it's ugly. I think the over $100, get over yourself. And then as you can see, they have lipsticks as well, which, like, how are you, like, I feel like that's so weird to store in your bag. Like, yeah, look at my lipstick with this big old horse top on it. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. I don't feel like it looks luxury. I feel like it looks tacky as hell. And it's $50, you guys. I was like, the who? Like, this brand I've never heard of in a $50 lipstick? Get out of here. Yeah, I just thought this whole situation was ugly and made me laugh. I was like, what's happening over here, you know? So yeah, definitely gonna pass on that. The next up, this one I thought was weird. So it's a release from Maybelline, and it is their Super Stay up to 24-hour hybrid powder foundation. And what I thought it was weird is the shade range. They only have 1, 2, 3, 4. They only have 12 shades. And I feel like Maybelline normally has a pretty good shade range, especially for being drugstore. So I was kind of shocked to see that, like, that's only how many shades they have, especially because the third column over, almost all of those all the way down look the same. So if you're gonna do a small range, at least give some variety and undertone, because yeah, I don't know. This just kind of looks like a mess compared to what they're usually doing, etc. So I don't know. I felt like it was just kind of not up to par with what Maybelline usually has going on. So I don't know. The last release that I wanted to chat about has been so crazy. It's the Natasha Denona Retro Glam Palette. And this has just been like crazy because it was leaked like a couple weeks ago and then everything was removed. And then all of a sudden people are posting videos about it. But Natasha hadn't even said it was launched. Like, I don't know. It was just crazy how this came to be. And honestly, like, I thought it was fake because I think the color story is pretty ugly. Like, I don't know, you guys. It is not really doing it for me. She said all of the shades are brand new, so you're not going to be able to find any of these other shades in her other palettes that she's launched, which, I mean, even out of the, I have the mini retro, and these shades are more olive tone. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to watch some like reviews and see some swatches and whatnot. But the greens in here just look more like minty and blue toned to me personally. And I don't really wear those kinds of greens. So for me, like, the color story just isn't it. I don't like the packaging either. Like, I have a lot of Natasha Denona palettes and I really love them. But this to me, I don't like it. I know a lot of people are hyped about it. They're going to get it. This is like what they've been waiting for and all of that. But it's just not doing it for me, which I'm kind of glad, because I was talking to my friend, Kate, over on IG, and she recently just picked up the retro palette. And I told her, I was like, I've been casually eyeing that one for a while. And she was like, me too, but I was waiting to see what the, you know, actual retro glam would look like once released. And she's like, I saw it, I don't like it, so I pulled the trigger on retro. And I was like, yeah, that's like kind of how I'm feeling about it right now as well. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't hit the spot for me. If anything, I would want it out of curiosity to try it out and give my feedback and stuff like that. But it's not something that I could see myself loving and using all the time to where I would like be like, oh yep, I'm gonna pick this up because I would love it. Like, you know. So yeah, that is my thought on that. It's just, I don't know, for me it's kind of a mess, but let me know what you think if you have picked it up. Not sure when this video will go up, but this palette does launch on November 7th. So let me know if you picked it up or if you plan to pick it up. I don't know. I'm always just so curious on what all of your thoughts are regarding all of these new releases, because we all obviously have such different opinions and preferences. So it's always interesting to see. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Bye!